Shabbat Shalom, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the Hunt Blind with DAEL again. And actually, tonight now, we're going to be touching a touchy subject, the tithe. What is the tithe? Where does the tithe go to? We're going to be using Scripture to say where the tithe goes to. We're doing it scripturally, not where, well, let's go. Tithe, what is the tithe? Tithe is 10% of your earnings from your cash crop. Now this was done back when agriculture was the mother of the land. Okay, this was when they planted their fields of vineyards, and it was done twice a year, during the spring harvest and then during the fall harvest. So there was 2 times a year that the tithe was paid for. What did the tithe go to? That's one thing, that's what we're here. What did the tithe go to? Does it go to carpet? Does it go to pews? Does it go to pastors' pockets? Does it go to community? Where does this tithe go to? Well, wouldn't we have it that Yod-Heh-Vav-Heh had told Moses how to put the tithe into play. Now, this is one thing that I love about what he does with this tithe. He puts it into play because it's got a specific place that it goes to. Now, for those of you who don't understand, you have a 7-year period, a cycle, CHAMOECHA. I can't pronounce it now, and my linguist just left. CHAMOECHA cycle, how do you pronounce that?
Sabbatical cycle.
It's another word, shmata or something like that, I can't think of it. Anyway, you got 7 years. You got 7 years. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay? Now your tithes went in twice a year. Okay? Off of each feast, or off of each crop cycle, spring or fall. Okay, so now where does the tithe go to that is directed by Yahweh? Well, let's say we have 7 weeks, or 7 years, and then you have 49 of these years that make up the sabbatical cycle of 50 years. So, our first one we find out is, who does it goes to? Year 1 goes to Levites, and to your festivals. First year of the cycle, your priests got paid first, was covered. Then the tithes took care of your festivals. So in the spring, they took care of your spring festivals. In the fall, tithe took care of the fall festivals. I think Daddy was pretty smart on doing this. Okay, guess what? Same thing for year 2. The Levites. Make it more of a V there. And festivals. So Levites are getting taken care of. They're the ones that's doing taking care of the people. These people had no inheritance. That's why he put the tithe and gave it to them, because their inheritance were the people themselves, was him. They took care of the people. That was their job. 3rd year, guess what? We have a change up. Well, almost a change up. 3rd year, tithes went to widows, orphans, guess who? guess who else? Guess who's still getting taken care of? The Levites. And somebody new. Aliens. We're not talking about space aliens here. We're talking about the foreigners that's in the land. I think somebody mentioned that would be for here in the United States. Would be Mexican people that are coming up because they're under oppression and stuff, and he sees them as I can't remember how they said, that's who that would actually fall under. Will be those types of people. So we have widows, orphans, still have the Levites and the priests, and now the aliens or the foreigners. They're taken care of. Year 3. Let's go back. Year 4. Ooh. Once again, Levites and festivals. Year 5. Levites, and again, festivals. Year 6. Widows, orphans, Levites, and once again the aliens. So we notice we've got the pattern with the Levites are taken care of every time the tithe is. Okay? Then our festivals taken care of first year, second year, fourth year, fifth year. Then the third year changes up. Widows, orphans, and with the additional Levites, it puts in the aliens, or the foreigners. And then back to Levites and festivals for the fourth and the fifth. And the sixth goes back to the widows, the orphans, the Levites, and the aliens again. Now why is there a split here? Well, these two are the same, these two are the same, but you have a split between the third and sixth year. Because look at year 7 is a Shabbat year. You have a Shabbat year. Nothing was planted. Only thing to come up was what was already planted. It would come over from previous years, would spring up. That's what they would live off of. This year was a double portion. The 6th year was a double portion. So the widows, the orphans, the Levites, and the aliens got a double portion of everything that came in. So it would help them through the Shabbat year. So there would be no planting. So what came up, people could glean off of, but they couldn't plant anything. So this is where your tithes go to, ladies and gentlemen. Now, if somebody can show me where carpet, I can see where the pastors come in, because if they're teaching the Torah, then they fall under the Levites and the Levitical priesthood, and they're the priests. I can see where they are taken care of every year. Also, these are the years for the festivals. If you're keeping Yahweh's holy, set apart, Moedim festivals, they're taken care of here. So I don't see any. Now here's the problem I have seen. I have seen church pews arguing over months and months and months to come up with a carpet color when these people and these people were needing help and couldn't get it. Okay? That's where we have the problem today with our Western society. they're in too much into a physical attributes. They're too much into having good things, so to speak, while these people are doing without. Now, Yahweh says you want blessed, you give to who He says take care of. This is who He says. Your Creator, your God, your Elohim, Yahweh, Lord, however you pronounce it, or however you say His name, in whatever language. The widows and the orphans are to be taken care of the third and sixth year. Okay? That's who's taken care of. Not your carpet, not anything. A building is just a building. Yes, you need to take care of it, but if it's going to take you 6 months to sit there and argue over congregation members what color to have and how thick it's going to be, there's a problem there. Okay? And I'm just going to pretty much tell you that's exactly what it is. It's a problem. And if you have that kind of a problem, you need to take care of it and nip it in the bud. Okay? I wanted to show you this because, like I said, there's 49 years in Shabbat cycle, in the sabbatical cycle. And on the 49th year, you have the actual Sabbath year again. So you have 7, 7, 7, 7, all the way over to you got 49. And then your Shabbat year, and then when your 50th year, it starts back with your Levites and your festivals again. So this is where the tithe goes to 10%. Okay? Now, some people say, okay, well that's back then, that's when they had agriculture, and they had it for the two seasons when they did the harvest. What about today's standard because of the industrial complex? Well, ladies and gentlemen, 10% of what you make is 10% of what you make. So if you're at work and you want to do what Yahweh says and you feel compelled to do what He says, then whatever your income is, to give 10% of that, that will still be considered part of your tithe. Okay? So when church is saying you need to give your tithe, yes, you do need to give your tithe, but you need to give it to a church that is keeping the actual tithe what it's for. Because if they're not, they are held responsible for it. Okay? They are held responsible for it. And if you're a member of that church where you have a voting right, or you're a member of a congregation where you have the corporation laws where you have a voting right, and your tithe's not being used the way they're supposed to be used, then you have a say-so to correct this. And you need to have it corrected. Okay? So tithe is 10%, but you also have, during that time, you have what's called the offering, which you can give anything you want to give. If you have anything extra or whatever, that's you whichever you give. That's called the offering. So there's a difference between tithe and offering. Tithe is required by Yahweh. Offering is what He's telling you to give to help other people. So that's my take on tithes from a scriptural standpoint. Of course, we learned that today in today's in today's Torah portion on how you pronounce the name? Rehe. So, but it's also back in Leviticus where it sets it up too. So that's my take on it. You got anything you want to add to this here? You might think it's pretty much right on line with what Scripture says. So I hope you take I'm praying that this is coming through where you can see it really, really well, because that is the cycles, okay? And that's where they're supposed to go to. Now, as far as knowing what cycle we are in, I cannot tell you that. I don't have the Hebrew knowledge on that. And my Hebrew scholars that just left, I think we had somebody added up. We may be, I'm not asking for it. This is where it goes to. If it's outside of this, then you have a problem. Okay? So, Levites, your festivals, the widows and the orphans, and the aliens. So we're here, we're taking care of the festivals and the Levites. Week 2. Okay, so we're at week 2. Now if you come up with another week, if you know this, and you can come up with that, and you come up with another week, please drop me a line, let me know what week it is, and show me by your calculations how we come up to it and which one we're at. So I'm learning as we go too. So I want to make sure that everybody else is learning the truth. That's my whole job here. That's why I call it the hunting blind, because I'm hunting for the truth. Okay. Besides being a hunter, when you hunt something, you're hunting for a specific target. Okay. Here we're hunting for a specific target of the tithe. Where does the tithe go to? And this is it. So, you got anything to add?
Well, as far as the years go, we might want to make sure that we're talking about years in Hebrew as well. So this year, right here, where we're at right now, will be ending sometime in April or March of 2013.
Yeah, I can't remember when it starts.
As soon as the new year starts, then we'll be able to go to this.
To the widows and orphans and Levites. So like I said, you got the tithe, this is what it goes to. But if you know widows and orphans now and you want to give money to it, guess what? That's called an offering. You can get to it anytime. Mm-hmm. Okay? So I think it pretty much takes care of the tithe and work, because like I said, not only do I have some people that's in the Hebrew roots asking this, but a lot of church members, and I mean that's in the Christian side, is asked about the tithes. I think it's pretty much sets it up and shows them exactly where the money's supposed to go to, why it goes to it. Like I said, if it's not going to where Daddy said it's supposed to go to, then it's not scriptural. Okay, that's why if you're a voting member, and that's what I love about corporations, because in corporations, if you're a member, you have a vote in that church or group, then you can bring it up. Hey, why is our tithes not going where it's supposed to be going? Okay, we want our blessings. You know, even though you give your money and they use it wrong, you're still with the blessings. They're going to be the ones that's going to have to answer for it when you stand in front of them. Okay, but that's it. Okay, so if there's any further thing here, like I said, if you got anything that you want to share with me, please do so. I'm going to have to get a website set up, I reckon, for at Nazarene Media. I don't know if I can do that somehow or something other where people can contact me, but I want to do you can go to, I know how you can do it, you go to Shofar Yeshua, drop a comment, shofaryeshua.com. That's SHOFARYESHUA. Wait a minute, I mean, Shofar Yeshua, that's right. SHOFARYESHUA.com. That's the radio station for Shofar Yeshua. Go to the comment section and drop me a comment there. There's comments if you got questions or anything. And on this, or if I'm wrong, and send me and tell me, because like I said, I'm not above reproach, I'm not above being corrected, because I'm learning just like anybody else, okay? So, for myself and the Hunt Blind, love, peace, and chicken grease. Shalom, shalom.